Welcome back to Alpha Technics. I can only apologise, but it's been far too long since my last episode on the Alfa Romeo. This is part 2 in the series. In the first episode, you saw me inspect the car and then remove the front anti-roll bar. And now I'm removing the front grille, the headlights, and I start to cut off the valance. So all looks well and good on a nice shiny car on the outside, but you'll understand why I'm going through this process when we start removing the valance. So you can just see I've removed the chrome surrounds from each of the headlight units, and now I'm just removing those rubbers that sit behind them. They're just there to protect the dust and the debris going into the bowls of the headlights themselves. I'm removing 3 screws, I think, that come out now for each of the headlight bowls. This one's a bit difficult to get out, so I'm going over to the other side. Right now I'm just labelling up each of the cables, so when I go back to the reassembly, it makes life much easier to know where they all go. I should be pulling through all the cables and tucking them out of the way whilst I'm doing all the grinding and the welding. So you can see now I've just laid out all the side lights and headlights in the car, and in keeping with the philosophy of my videos, I'm going to try my best to restore these rather than purchase new bowls, new rubbers, new headlights. We'll see how we go. You know, it could be quite an interesting video in itself. These do suffer, you know, the front end corrosion, the weather gets into here, and for some time you can see it's been eating away at the rust. So I've got some nitromores. I'm going to treat these. It will remove the paint and the surface rust, and then I'll go through with each component, just cleaning it up, and we'll see how good they come up at the end. I'll probably do a separate video on those in its own right, but if I was to go out and purchase a brand new set, probably looking at least £300 and £400 just for the components. So I think it's certainly worth doing, and in the spirit of things, I prefer to restore where I can. You'll also see that the front valance here is just offered up because I need to go through now and mark on each of the locations where I'm going to be cutting. So you can see in here there's a cut, and then that will be welded onto the plate here, which holds the headlights in there, and on the other side, only 1, 2 and 3 here. These riv nuts here I installed when I put the front GTA grille on. I shall make sure that when I reinstall this, I need to put those riv nuts back in, because those riv nuts line up with the bolt holes. I'll take this off now. Just for reference, I bought this from a company called OKP. They're actually based in Germany, and they do a lot of replacement panels and things. There we go, there's the part number for reference there. I think that's AR75002 03 or 9 or an 8 there. I think I might have lost the last digit off there. Oh no, it's there, you can see on the barcode, so 038. Looking back at the car now, you can see that actually it looks like this is welded onto the actual chassis leg. I'm going to call it a leg that comes out. There's probably maybe 4 spot welds perhaps that are in there, potentially from the factory. There'll be one there and again on the other side. And we'll see if there's any other locations underneath that also need to be cut with the grinder. So when I offer this back up, I can see that the envelope I'm going to work in, because I don't want to cut obviously greater than the actual panel, I can come in here and just go down and then go down on the other side, and I can work within the material that I've got. Renew as much as I can. This plate up here, I'm going to sand back. There's a bit of surface rust on it here and there, but I think it should be okay. And also there's a cross member on here. I'm going to take the bonnet off and obviously take the radiator out as well, but essentially I've got all the wires up the way. This valance can come off now. Up to now in this video, you've seen me cut away the valance. Unfortunately, I lost some video footage of me actually ripping this thing off, but I had to make several cuts, as you can see, especially around these mounting points. So now I can remove it. I can show you the severity of and the work that's needed to restore this back to as good. So in here, we've got the inner arch that comes down and mounts the front bumper points. I'm going to use these as my datums, and I'm going to avoid touching these at all. I think the material is relatively good. However, I might see that, or I might make a different assessment later on. The radiator mount, I'm going to possibly replace all of it, if not some of it from here on down, and I've actually purchased a new one here. That will sit underneath there eventually. So now I've got to remove the radiator. I'm going to take the bonnet off, the water, a reservoir, battery, all the things inside, so it gets me better access into behind here, so I can then start grinding away. But yeah, it's quite a daunting project, this one, but we'll see how we go. So we're now inside the engine bay with the bonnet removed. A lot more space, I can access around here. It'll be much easier to start working on the car, especially at the front of it. So I'm going to remove the battery now. I'm going to remove the radiator and the header tank for the water. I've got the horns to remove down here, some cables, bits and pieces. I can see, quite interestingly, the dust that's in here. So this car had a life actually out in Cyprus for 10 years, and it did some regularity rallying in Greece as well. So there is a bit of Greek dust in here still, because I've never cleaned it out properly. So let's remove the battery now. Now with the battery out of the way, I'm going to drop the horns. So there's two on here that need to come off. Don't want to lose the washer and the nut, so always put the washer and the nut back on the bolt where possible. Otherwise it goes into the bucket of nuts and bolts, or never to be found again. Can be replaced when we put it back to a nice new fresh stainless steel washer and nut, so they don't rust. These little horns are quite sweet, two-tone. They're by Vox Bell, which made in Italy, so they might well be the original ones. Just remove. You saw me probably on a previous episode label up all the cables, so gives me a fighting chance of when I put the back together again, they'll be going back in the same place. Now I'm going to remove the, if I find the right 13mm, is it? I'm now going to remove the earth lead. So now it's time to remove the water from the radiator, and then we'll get the water out of the way. There is a convenient drain plug on the bottoms of the rad, so I'm going to go under there now and then we'll drop the water out of here, and then after that we'll remove the mounting hole bolts from the radiator, and then top hose, bottom hose, and then remove it out. With the bucket in place, now we can look at removing the drain plug from the radiator. Also gives you a chance to see how bad this bottom cross member is under the radiator. Here we go. So we'll give that a few minutes now to completely drain out of the system, and then we can start removing the radiator. I've just removed one mount on the near side, and there's one bolt come off for the mount for the radiator on this side, and I think that's it actually for this radiator. There's only two. The bottom of the radiator sits in a cradle on the cross member. So then now it's now loose. I've removed the breather hose that goes to the reservoir. Okay, with all the hoses now detached, I'm going to try and pull this radiator out, watching I don't hit the blade of the engine. It should just slide up gently past it. There we go. What have I had? Oh, silly Billy. I didn't remove the earth from it. Didn't realise there was an earth there. Okay, the earth's got to come off. Okay, remove the earth, remove the washer and the P-clip that's holding the breathing hose on. Take that Jubilee out of there. There we go. I'm just going to put the stainless steel washer and the nylock back on there just for safekeeping. And now we can remove the whole thing like so. Oh. We can give the radiator a clean hose down before we reinstall it. Alright, now so with the radiator out of the way, you can see that certainly where we've got rust all the way down the bottom underneath the radiator cross member, that's all going to come out. We can really get access into there much easier with it all removed. I am going to remove, I think, the header tank and move this wiring loom out the way, and then we'll get a full clear view of what we're looking at. I may even go and remove the blade. Just gives me more access when I come to getting my hand in there to do any welding or any grinding. I don't want any sparks to go across the engine and onto the windscreen. It will actually make pits in the glass. So I'm going to put a fire retardant carpet across here, much like the one you find in your kitchen. Okay, so this is out, and then this. I've just removed the indicator light from the near side, could be the oil pressure. I'm going to pan around the front of the car so we can have a closer look at the extent of the work we need to do. Please excuse the rubbish on the floor, but I don't have much space to work with. So, first things first is if we take a look, I've removed everything from the inside, so I can get a closer look. I can actually get down here and look at the bottom of the cross member that sits under the rad there. I put a fire blanket over the top of the car just to protect the engine, really, stop anything from going over there, and we'll cover the rest of the windscreen afterwards. So we take a look on the left hand side. We've got the bracket for the headlight, so they're mounted here and up the top here. They would need to be cut out to then access the radiator surround. I'm going to cut the worst of the metal out, which is really bad rusty stuff. You can see that I'm going to make a cut down here and then one at the back here, and then there's also a cut to be made at the back with a grinder. Well, I've also got a Dremel. I'm going to sand away as much as I can to see where the good metal is, to make that assessment whether to remove the whole of the surround of the radiator or not. Again, you can see on this side we've got rust up here, not so bad here, but where it's sort of, where water can collect and sit underneath, it's probably worth removing the whole thing and then sort of starting from scratch. Again, on the near side, take a look inside. A lot of work to do, so I'm going to, again, trying to keep these where they are. There are my reference points, so either cut down here, sand this back to good metal if there is any, and then build on from there. I need to use this shape, because this is the profile of this shape here is the profile of the valance. So I might have to take a template of this. You can see that this is going to come out here. I've got to replace the anti-roll bar bracket that sits here. There's a lot of work to do. And now I'm going to work on the driver's side. Again, using the profile of this, I'll take a template using cardboard. It might be a piece that I do at the end, once I've put the front valance back on again. But obviously that's going to be cut out. It's quite severely corroded. Okay, so now you'll watch me sand away and cut out some pieces. What I'm going to do is mark up just with a marker here. I'm going to take away there. It's going to come off there. That's got to come out. That's got to come out. I'm going to cut there and take this bit out here. Once that's removed, then this will come away. Using this rust remover Scotch pad, it's a firm coarse wheel that can either be used on the drill or on an air gun, but just using the drill for this application, it's quite good actually of getting this rust off. We could use a grinding disc as well, but these sort of what they call strip discs are really effective. So I'm going to continue doing this, and you'll join me again hopefully when it's looking a little bit less rusty and back to bare metal. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to take this headlight bracket out. I've got to make a cut here, one here and one here, and then that will just come out of place. It's easy to just weld this back in once we're ready to for reassembly and relocate it. So I'm going to get the grinder now and just go in here on the top. There's one of the brackets out. So this can be used again. It's I'm going to nitron moors it, take the paint off, strip it, and get it back to bare metal. Treat it with a rust preventer and give it a good undercoat as well. I've got a marine quality primer that I use, which will be fantastic for this type of application. But yeah, it's got to get back to bare metal. The other option is to purchase these. They're not that expensive. That would be the other option, and then just fit new. But I'll consider that potentially of how well, depending on how well this cleans up. And now we've got a bit closer into where we need to be. I'm going to clean this metal up. It looks fairly good from the outside, but again, We don't know really until we look inside. This is part of the radiator surround. I'd have to remove it here. Here looks like it's welded in there, possibly tacked there as well, and certainly down here. So this is all got to potentially come out. We're getting there, bit by bit. I'm just offering up a cardboard template that I've just used to mark the profile I need to cut the sheet metal out, and then this will be cut and welded into place. I'm using the air saw here now to remove the material. Very crudely, I will end up cutting away back more of the material, make it neater so it matches the cardboard cutout. Again, using the Dremel just to finally cut out small pieces. I don't want to go mad in here with the grinder as all the brake lines are still attached. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's been over a year since my last, and please go back and watch the first part. Part 3 will be coming soon, and much of the same. I think you'll enjoy it as well as I will be in making it. So please remember to like and subscribe, and see you again soon.